Nature is an adaptable system. It's evolved and changed, modified by human intervention and natural disasters. But we mustn't take that adaptability for granted. What we consume and burn feeds a blanket around the planet. It seeps into the oceans and pervades our own bodies and every other living thing. We've severed many of nature's living connections and cycles. Our economic progress has been accompanied by a reckless disregard for the cost to our world. Well, we have a chance to build a new connection now between biodiversity and our well-being. Some people say we face a choice between innovative, thriving human communities or saving the natural world. But that's not true. When we invest in and maintain our biodiversity, we expand our way of thinking about economics. Biodiversity is our natural infrastructure. It's just as important to economic development in the decades ahead as the infrastructure we build with concrete, steel, and fiber optic cables. Today on Climate Solutions, a new ABC for biodiversity, we're going to present you with some age-old truths and update them with the urgency of the climate crisis, with recent discoveries and with important developments in green finance. Nature's own builders create their habitats and pave the way for other life, including ours. These are the ecosystem engineers. Let's go into how they work. In natural landscapes, species such as large herbivores, beavers, wild boars, they create shifting mosaics of open and dense vegetation. They shape rivers, they work the soil. They engineer environments for other plants and animals who also play an important role in soil generation and recycling nutrients. Predators have a special place in this story. They influence the behavior of herbivores and control their populations. That's important because otherwise they'd strip away too much vegetation. In today's landscapes, these ancient behaviors and relationships can be difficult to observe. Many species exist on the fringes of their original habitats because the wilderness is disappearing. Soils are the digestive system of plants. They store more carbon than the atmosphere. Healthy soil sustains a resilient cover of vegetation, a cooling engine of vertical transport of water and heat. Soil carbon is sequestered by plants, fungi, and tiny creatures over decades, even over centuries. The physical and chemical properties of water make the oceans the Earth's main sink and conveyor of heat and carbon dioxide. Life in the oceans plays a critical role. Plankton, for example, produce half the world's oxygen, and they sequester carbon as they die off down in the deep parts of the sea. They're also the basis for a food web that extends up rivers to birds and animals on land, thus returning nutrients. Whales. They're hunted into small numbers, but whales play an important role in recycling and redistributing nutrients and the Earth's climate because they help fertilize the plankton. I don't think I should go into too much detail, Nicola, about how a whale fertilizes plankton.
Please don't.
You won't be able to unsee that, so let's just move on. This natural infrastructure is being eroded because of insufficient protection. This makes the impact of human greenhouse gas emissions worse because it releases stored carbon and prevents natural processes from reabsorbing it. Once these natural connections are broken, it might not be possible to replace them. Think about what we stand to lose in the near future if we don't act now. A good example is the pollination of crops that is essential to the fruits and vegetables grown across the world. We need healthy, stable populations of pollinator species to ensure food supply and adequate nutrition for a growing population, or else we face the costs of disrupting the food system. Globally, crop pollination contributes the equivalent of 150 billion euros every year. That's a real, tangible value created by native biodiversity with very low costs. So, next time your grumpy old uncle says, "Why should we protect nature? It's more important to support jobs and growth in our economy," you can tell him, hey, pollinators like bees contribute more to the world economy each year than most countries. There are only 50 countries in the world with a GDP bigger than those tiny little crop pollinators. Alarmingly, pollinator populations are in severe decline.